The gates of the eternal heavens have been laid open. Its denizens have marched, departing their bastion to stem the tide. The realms of mortal kind are to be swept up in the coming storm. The choices of few will ripple out to affect the many. Destiny calls to a hope reborn. Oblivion awaits upon their failure. Our fate is in their hands.
Welcome back to
the Dice Bar Gaming Podcast. Yeah. Music to my ears. Well, it's been a few weeks since we last played, so I feel we should talk about encounters. And that last one you just had with the so dangerous sea squeaks.
We're level 2. What do you expect?
I know.
Man, we could have heartburn right now, and if we roll wrong, we're dead.
So we're not playing a pre-generated adventure. So all this is coming from what I best can try to give you a challenge. Bobby, what do you think about character death? I mean, you've had a few in your day, and it sucks. But what is like? Do you think it's necessary?
More than my fair share of character deaths. Even my favorite one, Baxter, still died. Favorite character still died. No, I think they're necessary. They help move the story along. They help make the whole experience a little more entertaining and more thought invoking as far as where do you go from here. If you have a primary or even a backup that's in the group and they die, that changes the whole demeanor of the group. And trying to introduce somebody else into the group, that's a whole problem in its own. So
at higher level, that's harder than at lower level.
You got that right. Well, at a lower level, you're like, let's go to the freaking thing over there. Hey, who wants to join? Let's go. And then you're like, we got 2 episodes for you dead, so we'll work you along. But yeah, once you're like level 12, in between anything above level 10, it's hard to incorporate somebody in unless they're like a mercenary.
I always felt like the higher the level, the more baggage your character kind of comes along with it. So you're bringing baggage.
Not even that. You've already had a group that has grown from low level to this higher level. You understand each other. You know each other. You know that person is either going to have your back or is going to be the first one to run out the door. You know, and when you bring someone new at a higher level, it's like, can we trust this person? Who is this person? What are they going to do?
Well, it's not only that. It's like the whole like system of D&D is propagated on the fact that like commoners are like level 0. Your low-level adventurers are like level 1. By the time you get to like 10, 12, up to like 16, you're an exceptional human being that there's like literally, out of the millions of people on the planet, there's probably like 100,000 of these people, like statistically speaking, right? Like
even the
you have to try and bring math into
I'm just saying, you like
nerd alert.
Luckily, we found this like one guy just conveniently. Like how fortunate for us.
And by that time, you're dealing with big bad guys that are playing against you. So the whole time you're like, is this guy a plant?
Yeah. So it's always. I mean, there's a game. We are playing a game
now.
And on Derek's point of the math doesn't make sense. Why would you even trust somebody coming in? But you have to because otherwise
you need that guy.
Well, right? That and otherwise they're going to be a player at the table being weird, just eating food and watching us play, which doesn't make sense. We do have to suspend some disbelief. Yeah. Or some belief, or whatever.
At low levels, it's not a big deal. If
actually,
your character gets punched in the face and dies, like you can just like literally, here's this other guy that is exactly the same guy. Just I'm going to change his backstory somewhat.
Taking out the trust issue with a party. A character dying by bad roll dice sucks. And it doesn't matter if you're first level or 20th level. Dying by bad dice rolling sucks.
Yeah, or good dice rolling. If the DM just like double 20s you,
Yeah, that's still like
then
bad.
That's still bad. That's still bad dice rolling from my point of view. But when your character dies from you playing your character, like the one character I had fun with, the paladin dwarf, he killed his whole party by selling a demon back in the cave. He was willing to make the sacrifice. Yeah, he was probably that demon's puppet for a while, but it was something he was willing to do to save everybody else. When your character dies by you playing your character, staying in your character and not changing just because the situation means you're going to live, means something. But when you die by bad dice, you're just pissed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but even a bad dice can still make, as long as it's up to the party at that point, because I've been that character that died by both ways. I've died story-wise, and I've died by the dice. And it almost relies on the people that are left to remember you. How did they remember you? How did you go down? And that'll give it meaning later. I've died, and I was furious. I didn't even want to play the rest of the night, and we still had like 5-6 hours left to play, and I'm just like sitting there making a character all mad. This is before the days we made up backup characters, but you guys brought some, right?
No.
Yeah,
But
so I'm not doing my.
exists.
Well, I haven't.
I'm not doing my job.
level 2, how long does it really take to make
I
a
know.
level 2?
Well, I'm not doing my job. I'm just making a job.
Oh no, I think you did your job well enough last time.
Well, then again,
West slash. You were I think if I would have hit that last hit or next hit, you were in danger.
No,
and I was like,
he was in danger. If you would have hit it, it wouldn't have been danger. That would have been game over.
we were kind of moving things along.
Listen to that, and he was
Yeah.
he was at like something like 4 hit points.
He was at
Twice.
0 when he hit himself.
Well, he was at 0, but he healed himself for like 4 hit
4
points.
hit points. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how close you were to that, and that's honestly why I brought
And
this
if
up.
you hadn't healed yourself, next round you would have been hit with bleed, and you would have been dying.
Yeah.
So you actually, even being a paladin altogether, helped saved your life.
Yes.
Because
So-
the healer was cutting people down.
At level 2,
Yeah.
intensive combat there. To remind everyone, because it's been a few weeks. Believe Yuri, what hit points were you sitting at before all healing? You're around 4, right?
You mean
Or not Yuri. I'm sorry.
Strom.
Strom.
Strom, before healing, yes, I was probably sitting around 10 because I did heal myself the next round as well.
So you're riding along in this wagon. Stomach still, you got a little bellyache.
Yeah, he almost died from food poisoning.
Yeah. Well, that's all of you.
Radish stew.
Hey, tastes fine to me.
I just want to say probably the hardest CR creature you've faced is radish too.
That's what you get for asking the 15-year-old to cook.
That's fair.
That is.
I mean, you guys did look at the
That
youngest
is
guy.
100% truth.
I don't know. I don't have teenagers at home. Bobby, you do.
Yes.
Would you cook? Would you trust your son to cook you eggs?
No.
I would trust my son to cook me eggs.
Not my son.
My son's 10, and I would trust him to cook
My son's
eggs.
17. He ain't cooked anything but burnt macaroni and cheese in a microwave.
How the
The
heck?
hell is that possible?
Don't even ask. It's a nightmare to even explain. Well, it's not really that hard. He didn't put no water in the cup.
Oh,
The most basic of all things?
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't put water in the cup. Turned it on. Melted my lid and almost caught my microwave on fire.
Wow.
It was a charred mound of black coal when he took it out.
It's like, Dad, I think I've done this wrong.
And
Oh,
it took 6 months for the smell to get out the microwave. That's me taking it apart, cleaning it out, and putting it back together and cleaning it every day. 6 months to get rid of that smell.
Sounds like someone needs to teach
I
that boy
can't-
how to cook.
can't wait to have teenagers.
Yes, you
Sound-
can.
Which are
sounds
how
like
old?
someone
Derek?
needs a ozone machine.
Fair enough, Murray. Fair enough.
All
I
right.
learned something.
So let's get back
that little
into
asterisk, the more you know.
let's get back into imagination land.
15 is adulthood.
You're riding on a cart path. You see the 2 tire wheel paths that you would see on a normal like country road kind of deal on this hand-drawn cart, which I believe Yuri and
Torad is
Torad are.
Torad. It's like taking a tour of
Torad.
Torad. Not Tar. He's not
Torad.
Torad.
So you're going along this cart path with Yuri, almost said Strom, Yuri and Torad pulling everybody along.
He's doing most of the work. I'm just there to help balance out the cart.
Yeah, he kept giving you dirty looks. Do you not remember that? Like, you're like, I come up to help him.
I know. I was like, dude. I was like,
look at you. Look at me.
No,
you were giving me the dirty
I didn't
looks.
try and help. I just walked behind it. I was being courteous and didn't ride. But, yeah, he tried to help you push. And you just kept giving him these dirty looks like, why are you here? Do you think I can't push myself? Huh?
Yuri and Torad are pulling this cart along with, I believe, Strom's in it because of his wounded stomach. The boy who you met as Felston. Again, typical brown-haired farmer boy. Probably around 11 to 12 years old.
And a bunch of glass bottles.
Kind of softly tinkling around. Even though Saigar, who I'll show you his picture here, played by a middle-aged, we'll say John Candy. Right there. Dressed in kind of a farmer-esque garb. He returned. He's got now a dagger at his belt, which he found in the camp that he had lost. Seems in great spirit now that he's alive. He just seems to be happy to be alive. He's just kind of absently talking about like the countryside as you guys like trudge along down the cart path. And are you walking, Alistair? Mm-hmm. You said you're walking. So yeah, the only Strom and the boy are in the cart at this time. Oh, and we'll say the fox kind of made itself comfortable it's kind of taking a little nap in the corner there, and Bevmora is walking beside the cart as well. And we'll pick it up from there.
So if I'm not mistaken, this is Yuri. How far is this where we're headed again? Talking to the old man?
My farm is about 3 hours from here at this pace. Not too bad. If you need... You see, Yuri just gave a look of pained, like, oh, I'm pushing this thing, like look on his face, and Saigar immediately picks it up. It's like, I can push if you need me to.
No, it's not that. It's just I have tender feet. I'll be
God,
fine.
please tell me I don't hear that.
You're right next to him. I think it's
No,
on the
he's
way
Well,
behind
you guys
the car.
got to understand, we're barefoot. We don't have shoes.
You know what? You're not barefoot. You have shoes.
I thought we were barefoot.
No, we
You
have
have shoes.
sandals.
You have soft leather boots.
Oh, okay.
Shoes.
I'm not
Soft
that
leather
bad
shoes.
then. I'm sitting here thinking we're barefoot walking through all this, and I'm like, I got tender feet.
Fairies. Tenderfoot.
So are there two places to push or pull this cart up front, or is he in the back?
You could have. Usually, it's one of those things with a. It's kind of like a rickshaw
I
with
just
two.
want to know where Bobby's at.
I'm on the right corner of the back. You can be on the left corner of the back, and he's in the front pulling.
I'm definitely not pushing this thing.
At least he's honest about it.
I have a reverse bicep, man. Like I flex.
He has
and it
show
falls out
muscles.
the bottom.
Okay, then you can lean into it, and you can push it by leaning.
He's one of those guys that has show muscles. All right,
Yeah.
these are for the ladies.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you got
Yeah.
what's called the Garfield muscles.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So.
What are you laughing at, radish bleeder?
At least I can take a hit.
What's your blood type? Oh yeah, radish. Anyway. Anyway, all right. So, unless there's nothing really important, we can just pass by time.
Okay. As I said, Sayer kind of continues to talk about the countryside. Nothing too important, just regular. We're starting to pass into, or we're heading west to my farm along the river, and
We'll see if he knows the bigger towns and stuff like that. Like what's near him. Obviously he's got these glass bottles from someplace. Where does he trade at?
so this is The creek that you met us on, that's a creek off of the Graves River. And the Graves River runs to Hearthgrave, excuse me. Up the river, it's a little cheaper to buy goods. There's a little trading post up the river to buy goods at, because the boats don't have to head as far down the river to get to Hearthgrave. So I bought these bottles for my farm. While I deal in a lot of vegetables, mostly we do have a small vineyard as well, and we bottle some of our wines for the season.
Ah.
So my son and I, his first trip, he kind of rubs Felston's hair, like scuffles it. So he's just happy to have his son. You can tell he to you guys, the way he's looking at you guys are the cat's pajamas. All right,
Real big hero. Gotcha.
yeah. So you ask him anything, he is forthwith, to the best of his ability. The way he speaks, you can definitely tell he's a farmer, country educated and stuff. Not saying he doesn't know how to read and write or anything like that, but
Gotcha.
very small
He knows
town.
how to
kind
read
of
and
vibe.
write because either his dad or his mom knew how to read and write.
Exactly. Yeah, he goes, along the Graves River, that's where a lot of the trading does. It goes all the way to the town, but it's just such a treacherous run along the river that they prefer to trade much further to the east. So if you're willing to pick up your goods there and take the few-day trek that my son and I have done, then we'll get these bottles at a fraction of the price. But we were accosted by those water goblins, and they toyed with us for a while. See his eyes kind of starting to water up again, and
I give him a pat on the shoulder and say, yeah, best not to dwell on those things.
he's kind of like keeping it in. Okay, thanks. He scruffles his son's hair again. You very much think that all of his fear is concentrated on his son.
Gotcha.
But Hearthgrave is... We're heading west. Hearthgrave is to the west, if that's where you're looking for. I mean, you asked the date. Been in a cave a long time. Not to... to each their own, but I don't know your business, but you seem... To my recollecting, or my acknowledging you seem lost. So, yeah. And there's nothing near here except for Hearthgrave.
More of a tunnel than a cave, I suppose.
As again, your business is your own, young master. I'm not here to get in it. Just, to help you out.
Right. But yeah, trying to get to a big city. Very lost.
Well, big city, there's only one on this whole island, and that's Treegum.
Geography on Treegum? Is that like...
I think you rolled that a few weeks ago, and that's on Aidren Island. It's the only city on this island.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't remember. I thought I would have remembered Treegum.
To kind of rehash it for all of you, you're on Aidren Island, which is also known as Graveshold back in the day. It is where it's almost like the on our world, on planet Earth, where the pharaohs kind of like the Valley of the Kings kind of deal. It was where the Azulian, which is an ancient empire, long ago of very powerful wizards, they buried their dead on this island. And they would set up very elaborate tombs, and like riches beyond belief are supposed to be buried in this island. Also dangers beyond belief. It is supposed to be the reason why they buried, again, I didn't mention this earlier, but kind of cool lore. The reason why they buried their dead here is it's supposedly connected to the land of the dead. Like it's borderline connected to the afterlife.
So they wanted to keep their bodies someplace they thought they could sneak out?
Yes, kind of that deal. So
right, great.
This is a very spooky island. Yep. If you're willing to pass by time, we can get to the farm.
I'm willing to pass by time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Bobby's got soft feet.
He's got soft feet.
Sure do.
How did you forget you had shoes?
Hey, forgot.
When you played,
He is an elf.
he's like, I thought I was playing Die Hard. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think he's are you an elf?
Half elf.
Oh, okay. I completely missed that the first time.
So to fast forward some time, or speed up time, let's get on down the road, unless somebody really has anything noteworthy in these next 3 hours. Going once, going twice. All right. 3 hours go by, and you are entering the Stoon farm. That is what Saigar says his last name is Stoon. So this is the Stoon farm. It makes up a... So you've been kind of a downslope this whole way down this creek. And then eventually you leave the creek, and trees give way to fields here and there. And as you start seeing fields open up, the countryside opens up a little bit, and you see mountains all around you. You're kind of in the valley / fields, kind of crops being grown to your left and your right, and you're going down like farm roads now with a rutted road. Saigar keeps talking about that's Dan's farm over there, and that's names that you guys doesn't matter to you, but he's just kind of going on talking. He apparently likes to talk a lot, but in a friendly way, not too annoying. But you zone him out eventually until you get to his farm, and it says Stoon Farm right on it, and you see vegetables being grown all over, and you see he has a couple different barns. Mostly filled with hay and typical barn. You see cows and goats and other livestock just kind of hanging out, and chickens. And his wife rushes out, which you're assuming is his wife. You see kind of a plump woman, middle-aged, run out to meet her husband and her son, and another little girl, maybe around 8 or so, with little pigtails kind of running behind them. They're overdue, because you see streams of tears running down her eyes as she's Saigar, and she runs to him, and he grabs her up, and hey, strong. He swings her around and just happy, it's honestly like a nice little touching moment of a family being reunited. Nobody really approaches, at least Bevmora and the fox are just kind of watching, and I don't know what you guys are doing, but they're kind of having their few minutes.
Yours just going to stay in the back and let them have their moment.
Strom is still laying down at the moment, going, I was having such a peaceful nap. I want to go back to sleep.
Eventually, Saigar grabs his wife by the arm, and his daughter's kind of up on his shoulders, and he brings them over to introduce each of you. He motions to his wife, and he goes, gentlemen, this is my wife, Clara, and my little girl, Shien. Say hi. And the little girl kind of waves shyly, and the wife, he goes, they saved me. And the wife is just like, she wraps each of you in a warm hug, unless you guys push her off or anything like that. But otherwise, super warm hug, welcoming you guys to her farm.
Oh, well, yes, thank you.
And poor Derek can't push her off because he's not stronger than her.
She does have them churning arms, the butter churning arms.
Yeah, I know. Bobby got it.
I can see it in his face. Oh my God, she is so strong.
Yeah, she's probably stronger than Strom.
Right now, definitely.
But she welcomes you into the actual house. You smell fresh coffee being brewed, and she pours each of you coffee. The whole time, I'm not going to role play every moment of it. She's either shoving a fruit, a vegetable, a drink, water, something in your face. You're hanging out, whatever, doing whatever you're doing. You have something like a pastry, whatever, shoved at you. She's whatever you guys pretty much want. I mean, I'm not saying they're rich, but they're not hurting for food either.
Well, whatever she is throwing to Strom is actually taking as much as he can in, and then shortly soon passes back out.
All right. So, Strom, you're just going to nappy poo. So, the missus apologizes profusely. She's like, we don't have room in the main house. I'm so sorry. I will make the barn as comfortable as we can, unless you want our bed. We can make room if you want.
I'll take the barn.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. What was your name, sir?
I am Strom.
Clara. She curtsies again. Come away, sir. Come this way.
I follow.
And she brings you guys to, and she tidies it up. She's like, wait here 10 minutes, and she tidies up the barn real nice, puts out a lot of bedrolls and stuff like that. You see this barn is not used for animals and stuff. It's mostly just to keep hay, and it smells heavy of tobacco too, actually. So maybe sometimes they use it for a tobacco barn. So, and you get to take a nice nappy poo.
So are we all sleeping out in the barn or just Strom?
Strom for the moment, unless you guys are. He's sleeping during the middle of the day.
Yuri's actually going to do a heal check on him to see how bad that wound still is. Because I know we've done some healing on him, but I don't know how much it is.
Did you expend your healing? I said heal off. We didn't really heal off air. Whatever you want to expend on him. Are you tapped?
Yeah, I'm tapped now. That's why
I'm also tapped.
That's why I wanted to do a heal check.
What
to
are
see
you
how bad
out
off
of hit
he was.
points wise?
1 hit point.
You're only down 1 hit point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's fine. He's just.
The loss of blood.
Yeah, it's
Quit whine, bitch.
I'm
Down
down
1 hit point.
I'm dying. I'm down 1.
This I'm gonna kick him in the nuts.
The agony.
He's role playing it correctly. He suffered a large wound, and while magical healing, he's good to go. He's tired. It's been a rough day. So he crashes out early in the barn.
Disemboweled.
During the day,
He threw up all his dinner.
during the rest of this day, you guys partake in food, are able to lounge around. Around dinner time, Strom, you're up again, kind of got a good nap in, get some food in you again. You guys are all kind of fat and happy around the fireplace that night. The kids are, Felston and Chien are both like, good night, good night. They love you guys too. They're giving you guys hugs and like, thank you so much. Felston is especially, he seems like he's embarrassed. He's like kind of in that between stage of like, I'm a man and I'm a boy, and he's a little embarrassed that he had to get rescued, but at the same time, you guys are heroes to him. You can see he's got a hero complex with you guys, and but they retire early, and so does Clara. Puts him in bed, and you guys are kind of around the fire with Saigar, again played by a young, happy John Candy, and he's passing around a fine brandy, even by some of you who are used to the finer things in life. This is a good brandy, so he must be bringing out his finest stock. And you guys just kind of have some moments to talk amongst yourselves around the fire.
Did you produce this? This is wonderful.
No, I got that from Hearthgrave. Traded some of my bottles of wine, which I will bottle some up for you when you decide to move on. I'll have some bottles for you.
Thank you.
But this has been in my family a long time. I think I got it when I was in my 20s, so many a year ago.
Yes, this is very good. The best I've had in quite a while.
If I might ask, how can I help you further? I feel you're in need of different kind of help than I did.
If you can give us more of a understanding of the area of this island that we're in, just in general, would be greatly. I'm from a very dispatched place, not known to many.
He looks around kind of knowingly, like he kind of gets that you got, like he gets that something's up with you guys. He doesn't know, but he's like, you're almost as far from civilization as you can get. Even with Hearthgrave not too far from here, you're all the way. This is people come here for a slow life, so to speak. Just get away from things. So we're not usually involved in the world's big politics.
As he's talking, you see Torad is watching them drink, and he's going to try and copy them. This is the first time anyone's given me whiskey. I'm going to try it.
Well, it's brandy.
Brandy, whatever.
Anything.
And I'm watching you guys drink, and he's like...
He gives you guys like little...
He's like, oh man, that's like Kool-Aid.
You guys have like little like wooden cups to drink out of. He gave it to each of you, so you're drinking it. All right, you're getting a little more red nosed than the rest of them, so to speak. But Torad's having a good time. You're like, ooh, this is good. You feel warm for the first time.
Can we see his demeanor changes at all?
No, he hasn't really outwardly portrayed it. He hasn't talked much yet.
I'm very impressed then.
But this is the kind of cult. You know how I described it is like between, I don't know, the high 30s and mid 40s. It is a cold, hot mid 30s to 40s, kind of like we were talking about earlier, like off the Great
So
Lakes.
our backsides are freezing while our front sides are warm.
Yeah, it's but no, the brandy is making you feel that the good inner warmth.
Yeah.
And you feel secure for the first time. Sagar's very disarming. He might be a farmer, but he's kind of charming in his own way, and he's very genuine. Maybe that's what the charming part about him is. And but he's going on. He's across the singing sounds, the 6 reaching kingdoms. You go over there, you're going to be dealing with a lot of politics. But south of here is Tree Gum. I mean, it's a couple week trek, but don't go unprepared if you're going to head for Tree Gum. If you're new to this area and you're needing a place to kind of seek some civilization, Hearthgrave is where you want to go. And I can steer you in that direction if you need. There's a quick way, a little harder hiking, and then there's a lot longer way, but it's an easy road. I can give you directions to both. You are welcome to stay here as long as we can. I'm sorry it's only the barn. But, my wife and I will give up our bed if you guys have a wounded person or you want something, need a little more comfort. But I'd rather not put my wife and children out if you don't mind.
Yuri tells him, the barn is fine. We do not need your personal space. The barn should be fine for us. Is there anything that you need more from us? You have been gone a while from the looks of it.
You saved my life and over glass bottles for our little vineyard. And I have a cousin. Her name is Tia. She's an innkeeper, part owner of an inn in Hearthgrave. I'll steer you her direction, and you tell her that I sent you, and she will put you up with room and board there so you guys can at least get established. And she's also got her, as the city folks say, her ear to the road. Is that how they say it? Ear to the street. I don't know. Something like that.
Ear to the ground.
Yeah, that's it. I'm afraid I can't give much information on that other than, our local. I mean, we have a couple nasty individuals in these areas, but other than that, it's quiet.
How nasty?
Well, there's Garn Redding and his gang. He's apparently a nasty fella from the mainland. He's kind of started a highwaymen kind of thing. I don't have to deal with them too much out here. I've seen them once in a while, but I steer clear of them, and they don't really bother us too much. And I think there's some sort of gang also in the city that's pretty nasty. I don't know much about them, but my cousin Tia has talked about them on multiple occasions. They're a pretty nasty group they're a bunch of veterans from an old war. That's all I know about them. Other than that, I mean, just crazy things happen here. It's just, I've seen spirits walk in my cornfields, and I've seen the dead talk. This place is none like other if you're not from here. You see any strange openings or stairways leading down into the earth, don't go down them. The dead don't rest.
Very well. How are we looking on rations?
Does anybody have planes?
Your knowledge planes? Yeah.
Give me a roll. Oh, good roll.
Plus 8, so 27?
Roll a 19, 27, nice. If you were trying to hit a creature, I'm sure that would have been a 1. But
yeah,
apparently,
I've got a strategy here. You can see I have them set up on ones, so I pick them up and drop them. So,
okay, so the realm of the afterlife is Mel'Herron, which is the plane that you're on, has a lot of pocket planes, unlike a lot of other planes in the multiverse or whatever. That which has individual or like its own separate things, like the positive plane material, like all those things.
They're all attached.
These kind of have like Greek or Roman mythology, and how like the underworld was like a physical place you could almost walk to.
Gotcha.
That's kind of like how the underworld afterlife is here. Malboja is what it's called. The realm of Malboja, which is Degotha, which is the god of the afterlife. That's his realm. You can actually physically, if the realm kind of touches in some places, or like it's thin. Gotcha. The dead can walk.
The veil is thin.
The veil is thin here. Maybe that's why, as we talked about earlier, that the Azulians chose it. So you can accidentally walk down the wrong cave and end up in Malboja.
Gotcha.
The realm of the dead.
So, when I was saying that we were in a tunnel, like that might have been a little bit more suspicious than I wanted it to be. Gotcha. All right.
And if the Azulians themselves, I mean, they had high, crazy magics that could rival. I mean, they were like almost gods themselves. They were at such a high level. I mean, this is thousands of years ago, of course, but did they have magics that thin this veil here on purpose, or did it exist? Too long to know now. It's just the way it is. So you gather, just even by talking to these people, or Saigar here, that it's a normal way of life for them here, that the dead walk this land.
Yeah.
Or they're restless at least. There's a time of year.
Did they have a big city here, or was it entirely like a graveyard, the Azulians? Do I know?
They had a city, yes.
Gotcha.
It rests where Treegum is now.
All right.
But they had, they would carve out whole mountains. Let's say, an emperor of theirs passed away. They would carve away an inside of a whole mountain, or under a mountain in this area, as his tomb, and defend his riches for when it's very Egyptian pharaoh-ish.
Gotcha.
It might actually have been possible. You don't know enough. I mean, it's been 5,000 years since they walked this plane. They actually might have brought their worldly possessions and their servants with them
into the
whatever Malboja. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they would craft kingdoms to go along with this realm of the afterlife. So there's untold riches under your feet, even as we speak. So remember how we were talking earlier, I described the teleportation circle, and you're like, why would a farmer move close to something that weird? It almost is now starting to add up. This probably kind of shit is everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you said as much last time.
It just kind of almost, now that you're getting more into it and you're connecting the dots, you're like, okay, yeah. These people probably deal with this kind. And while they're probably a superstitious lot, their superstition probably actually has a lot of a good foot grounded in reality. Their superstition actually fends off these kind of things.
Gotcha.
Salt on your windowsill probably actually does some good.
All right.
And are you as a player or as a character kind of stating this for the group, or are you kind of keeping this to yourself?
I think I'm probably keeping it to myself right now because I mean, as much as this farmer is disarming, we don't want to be like, oh yeah, yesterday we came back from the dead. It's totally
you're not talking
cool.
about, I meant your personal thing, but I'm talking about the historical aspects of it. Hey, oh yeah, the Azulians used to Malboja, but all that. Are you sharing that, or
I probably will after he leaves. Once again, it's something you freak out the nice farmer with.
You know what? Just to get this conversation going, we'll say he's retired for the night. He's like, I'll stay around the hearth as long as you want. Enjoy the brandy. Here's another bottle. Here's some of my wine. Feel free to bring that with you as well. Kid, here's a puke bucket.
You have to call me kid.
Yeah. He looks for a moment, just smiling at you, to see if you're going to take offense. But you look. So Marcus, he's smiling ear to ear right now. So I'm almost assuming the kid's just happy. So I'm assuming Turat's kind of
you gotta think, this is first time drinking, and so he's drinking alcohol.
Yeah, so
and indulging himself.
He's like, here's a bucket. Drink. There's some water. Go slow, kid. No offense. I saw you in battle, and impressive, but you look a little red around the cheeks. Good night, everyone. Thank you again, and I'll see you bright and early in the morning, or not. And he kind of gives a point again at Torad, and he retires. So do you want to share this information now, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get that going.
So blah 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 blah.
Everybody else can roll a religion for this area, please, if you have over a 10, or the skill, I should say.
No.
I rolled a 14. I have nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Glad to get that out of the way.
Yeah, me too. I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 2.
Do you have it?
Not the one.
I do not actually. I was a little.
What
surprised.
what was the rolls around here?
My total was 8.
8.
Mine was 4.
Yuri 8. Strom 4. You don't have it trained, do you, Torin?
No, I don't have it
Okay.
trained.
All right.
I was going for the 20.
Fair enough. And Bevmora does not.
Can I roll a
Bevmora does not have it.
like knowledge local? Legends, personalities, and habits, laws, customs, traditions.
It's a religion thing. It has to do with gods.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it. It has to do with directly with gods. And the kind that are worshipped here.
Well, I was just wanting to know if I could roll a knowledge local, like interesting, like legends, personalities, inhabitants, laws, customs, traditions.
Yeah, go for it. 5.
That's only gonna get me a 13.
13. No, not good enough for
Gotcha.
anything too interesting, other than what I gave you.
All right.
Does anybody else have local?
No.
I could go for the 20.
I think we
Oh, yeah, tavern lore. Well, I'm not going to take that away from you guys.
No.
19.
So close.
No.
So close, but you
I almost know something.
I had half of the 20.
Okay. Yeah, no. I'll roll for Bevmora as well. No, and I'll roll the other one as well. Oh, she got the local. I rolled a 20. She kind of like quizzically looks into the fire and she goes, I've heard about Graveshold. I've heard many rumors and legends of its day. Its greatest, the old empire. What did you call them again?
Zulians.
The Zulians. Their greatest champions are buried here. I think I remember, what's her name? The Queen of Crows. Talina Rel. That is her name. She is known as the Queen of Crows. Is buried on this island.
Well, let's just hope we never run into one of those underground openings.
A piece of me says we already have.
You talking about where we came from?
Yes. But
That was above ground. Oh, you mean that other place? That crown we have. Is that what you speak of?
yes. But I'm not 100% sure.
No. Bottoms up. Takes a heavy sip from her drink. She's kind of swaying in her
I'll
chair,
cop
too.
here.
Poor Torad is going to have a rough night. I am not holding his hand, she says as she sways in her seat.
Yuri's not checking.
It's a sipping drink.
Anything else we can move on?
I'm just wondering if he might know where the husk of the tree is that our lady is at.
Who?
The farmer.
He went to bed.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm just wondering if tomorrow we might ask him if he knows where that area is.
Where the witch is?
Yeah.
I'm sure he does. But probably. Well, actually, is it? It's on this island?
No, it's not on this island.
Yeah, I didn't think it was on this island.
I thought it was. Okay.
But he still probably knows. It's pretty common knowledge. I know where it is.
Well, then I'll consult with you later.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we'll have to get back to the mainland.
Yeah.
I gotta do my voice.
Because right now we got to figure out
do
what
that
we're
again?
doing with the crown.
Yeah.
And then we got to go to Tregum. Actually, we got to go to Hearthstone.
I've been saying Hearthgrave.
Hearthgrave.
It's Hearth.
Hearthgrave.
Marty has been mispronouncing it. It's Hearth, like the front of a fireplace. Hearth.
So it's all your fault.
It is all my fault.
So Hearthgrave, we got to make it there.
From there, we can.
Maybe seek passage. But main thing is getting there. Alistair. So we've got two choices tomorrow. We've got, or in the next few days, depending on when we leave. Either we can take the short, difficult path, or we can take the long, easier path. I'm thinking if we take the long, easier path, we're going to probably run into the ruffians he's talking about.
I
makes no sense.
Do you actually think they're going to go to a harder place?
Yes.
They get more if they just take everybody that's trying to take the easy road.
It's the easy path because there's guards and
Where
more people.
do you think there's guards?
If it's a well-traveled road, there will be guards.
We passed a whole encampment that was overrun by
I
those fish
guarantee you,
things.
we were not on a well-traveled road
Nothing out here has been well traveled.
because we haven't been on the easy path.
Torred is just sitting there, like, going back and forth, trying to understand what the hell you guys are talking about.
Strom takes his cup, drinks it, starts pouring himself another cup, and goes, "Why don't we ask the farmer?"
For his recommendation?
His
that sounds like a
recommendation.
wonderful idea.
Yes. I would prefer the short route myself,
Ugh.
but whether it be the short route or the long route, neither route will be safe.
Safe is a relative thing. Of course, you prepare for the worst, but you hope for the best. You don't prepare for the best and hope for the worst.
Torred stands up. You guys talk too much.
Bevmora
It
stands
starts
up as
stumbling or goes toward the door, and I don't know if he quite makes it.
Bevmora also gets up, takes her last bit of drink out of her. She's out of her cup, also swaying. She's like, "I'm not saying that I have experience." And she looks up. She's looking up like she's trying to find the word. Brigandry? Brigandry? Is that a word? Yes, it's a word. She
All
points
words
at you.
are made
Yes,
up.
but I don't know where I was going with that. Yes, and then she stumbles out. "Come on, Torred, I carry you." And she kind of like takes you, and then you guys kind of sway off, and they pass out in the hay in the barn later on.
Yuri gives a quick little wink towards Torad. Yeah. He's going to wake up, think something happened, and nothing's going to have happened. He's going to be like all blushing tomorrow. That or sick as a dog.
Probably
You guys
both.
retiring for the night, or the three of you going to speak on further? on things?
Yuri's not quite tired yet.
Okay.
Yuri's going to stay up a little bit longer. I'm going to use the last of the embers, and I'm going to do some praying to Torag,
Okay.
or to Carboon.
Torag.
No, pray to him. Pray to me. He's right here.
Torad, please.
Oh, Torad.
Please let
Become
me
a
have your
man
hormones.
Don't let your hormones overtake you.
All right. Next.
Strom is also going to pray to Vaster.
Okay.
I was praying first. Go get your own square.
I know we're kind of. Vasher is a morning prayer kind of guy.
Sucker.
First thing in the morning. Carvo don't give a fuck.
Yeah. He says, do it. When
Well,
you can.
I'll still pray in the morning then.
Okay. All right, you get your embers out. You collect some embers, Yuri, around the hearth, and get a nice little pile, and you pray for it, and or pray to it. And you don't know how much time passed, but you start feeling a little cold, and you open up your eyes, and they've long since gone cold, and the little embers in the fire, and you feel tired now, and you retire for the night.
Yeah.
But you feel invigorated. You got your spells back and all that stuff. So that's how you can
Nice.
Next morning, a couple of headaches later, maybe a little grogginess. Torad and Bevmora wake up, kind of like her foot is literally in your face. Torad kind of smushing your cheek in, and
He's got a foot fetish now.
and you're like, you got one boot, like you're wearing it as a glove, and the other one's just on your foot still. But other than that,
Wow.
everything's normal. You're
Hey,
just
that
kinda-
hand was cold.
you don't have no idea what you're doing. Your puke bucket is full.
Like, no, I've
You-
definitely done stuff like that. Like, you get really trashed. When I was a teenager, man, we'd get really trashed, and then the house would be too fucking cold.
How old were you?
I was probably around
12?
16 or something like that. Yeah, so I was 12, Bobby. I was getting shit-faced at 12.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're gonna ride that out for a while.
I know, like-
he's really beating that one.
Yeah.
it's like it's a dead horse by now.
That's all right. Even a dead horse has more fun later.
But yeah, your puke bucket's full.
And where we are, the horse might rise.
Torad, your puke bucket is full to the brim. You don't know who did that. It might have been you. You got some terrible taste in your mouth. You're actually doing it. You're a young, spry guy. You're doing all right. Like me at 40-something would be dying right now. But you're doing all right. And anyway, everybody gets kind of moving.
You barely feel what he drank from.
Probably.
I'll bring you
So
some
Dice
water.
Bar. Yeah. Encourage drinking around the world.
Drink responsibly, people. Just drink responsibly.
I'm responsible for drinking more.
Same here.
So, you gonna move on in the morning, or are you guys sticking around the farm for a while?
Figure we'll stick around a little bit, and maybe we can scavenge some fruits and vegetables to take with us,
All right.
with his permission.
If you guys want to fast forward another day, with, you wanted to speak with him about the roads,
Yeah,
right?
we'll get his advice on the road.
Yeah, we'll get his opinion.
Get some rations together.
Which way the brigand...
Wow. What's around the farmhouse? Because these guys talk way too much for me.
It's a farm.
I'm sure you can find some logs to chop.
There's a
All right.
chicken that you can chase.
It's a farm, so there's always something to do. You
I'll
make
just-
yourself busy.
Everybody
can
grew
make-
up on a farm. I know what's supposed to be done first thing in the morning. I'll just start doing it.
All right.
He's going to go choke his chicken.
That's for dinner. You choke chickens at dinner.
Yes. Chickens are dinner, not breakfast.
Probably collecting some eggs, though, from the chickens.
Oh, God. All right. You speak with him. Saigar mentions, well, nobody travels that the short path. It's up a mountain.
I look at Yuri somewhat smugly. Like I told you so, kind of smugly.
It's honestly, it's not so much creatures you have to deal with. It's just hard trekking. The long way, nobody patrols it. There are no patrols
smug
outside
look
of-
return.
The city guard is stretched thin, as I understand, through Hearthgrave. They kind of just deal with... They put out fires rather than prevent them, if that makes sense. So, I mean, Garn's, Redding's crew could be... You're more likely to run into them in a long road. But, again,
Double look.
you get through it faster. So, I mean, you're taking your chances either way. You make up your mind. One way is about 2 days. The other one is about... You can make it less... A little more than half a day.
So it's a hard trek, but it's only half a day?
Yeah, it's going up through a mountain range. You're going to be going up through some steep... it says some rough hiking is more the thing. Yes, there's some nasty creatures up in the mountains that you might have to deal with. But, as I said, you're there a lot less. So, that's some old goat paths you're taking. The other way is the highway, and they call them highwaymen for a reason. So, there you go. There's a lot of farms throughout this countryside here, and they all use that road, and most get through fine. I would say it's probably a random die roll to see what happens.
Let's do the pros and cons. One way, we don't have to walk up and down a mountain. Con for that. Big creatures, con for that. Quick time, plus. Pro. Any other pros you can think of for the short way?
We don't have any camping
Very
gear.
less likely to run into the brigands.
I'd much rather run into brigands than monsters that are going to eat me.
What if
Brigands, I can tell, I don't have anything to rob. I'm poor. Go away.
And they
But
look at you and think
monsters-
you're kind of cute.
You are kind of cute. Sorry, not helping.
Thank you both.
I mean, you're just
I
a
think
handsome
that's
man.
a plus if the brigands happen to be female. Although, that seems unlikely.
Anyway, and so we go with the long path, and the cons are...
It takes us 2 days. That's definitely a con. We might run into brigands, which might decide that because they can't rob us, they're infuriated and therefore try to murder us. We might run into farmers. That could make the trip more interesting, and thus run into brigands and have to defend them from the brigands. There's a lot of things that could happen. I don't know.
You
Pro,
name more
con.
cons than pros.
Yeah. both of them are terrible, honestly. They involve walking.
Why don't we put it to a vote? And then I will be tiebreaker with whoever wins a charisma check.
I'm not even there.
Well, you're there enough.
I didn't realize I was actually there.
Yeah, my bad. I would assume you guys would do this as a
I
group.
thought he was out trying to catch a chicken.
So later during lunch, then.
But I'm sabotaging the shit out of it.
These points get brought up again. Now, conversate.
Strom is for the shorter route. Might be a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more of a workout, which I'm fine with. Shorter, always better. Usually. As he kind of looks around, seeing how everyone else feels.
One, do we have any camping gear for a longer trek? Do we have the ability to carry food for the longer trek?
Well, it'll only be 2 days.
You have enough food for a few days, yeah.
It's
Remember, you have
easy.
the preserving bag, and you have some basic camping things. So you guys could do the 2-day one, yes.
Yeah. And
You have the ability to.
well, I think blankets and such will probably be alright. We've been doing that so far, haven't we?
Yes, but we've been in structures. Note the one of the reasons I'm saying the shorter path. We can get there in half a day. We can get into town and maybe find some lodgings.
Well, there may be places where we can
Well, actually,
lodge along the
we've
way.
already got lodgings if we go to his cousin Tia.
Mm-hmm.
So half a day travel.
I
But
think you guys
also-
are misunderstanding what he's saying. Like, if it was something that...
I know
is-
I'm younger than you, but I'm getting a little tired of you always cutting me off.
I thought I was cutting him off.
If we can ask the farmer here, he can tell us on this way who could give us shelter.
That would be a very good idea.
They're between here and Hothsgrave. There is no shelter. At Hothsgrave's, there is his cousin who runs an inn who can give us shelter once we're there.
Did not he say there are farms along the road?
Yes, he said there were farmers along the way. Technically, we didn't ask if there was any place to seek shelter. We just asked directions and what was on the other end. He gave us 2
Farmers
paths.
around these areas take care of people. Especially if we are willing to do a couple of hours work in the morning. I know farm I grew up on, we always had travelers coming through. And Mom always put them up for a little work.
To answer Torad's question, yes, yes, I can get you lodging. However, these farms are vast, so you would have to go out of your way. You probably add a maybe half day to your trek to have safe lodging. But yeah, you can get there in 2.5 days. I'll make sure you get there safe. There you go.
Because he's worried about brigands. He doesn't want to walk up a damn mountain.
I just want
Not
to be
really
right.
sure. I think he's just being argument's sake.
I just want to be right.
We will take the road. I pull out my shield in front of me. I pull my axe down in front of me. That's a
taking the
26 on Intimidate. We are taking the road.
Okay, we're taking the road.
His testicles dropped and you're shriveled up.
I mean, he did roll a 20 on his Intimidate.
All right.
I guess we're taking the road.
And helping farmers along the way.
All right. So the boy threatens the group.
No, I didn't threaten her. I just pulled my
That
shield
was
out.
definitely a threat. You're not going to intimidate
Yeah,
without
the
a threat.
paladin bullies us into taking the high road, and then the boy intimidates us into taking the low
All
road.
right. If it's going to be that much of a problem, you can take the long road. Let's just get a good rest and go in the morning. So, to fast forward this shit show, that night, as you lay your heads down in the hay in the barn, ready for the night's sleep, knowing you have a long trek ahead, the long way around. Just kidding, I'm not starting that again. You do hear in the distant sound, ow! It's almost the same wolf pack you've been hearing. Ow! And you all wake up at different parts of the night. And we'll see you next time.
Bitch.
No.
Fuck you guys. I'm gonna eat you.
No, they're not. We're gonna kill them.
Go the long way.